Hi, it's Jackie here. I am the Manager of Therapeutic Programming here at AFA, and it is my pleasure to introduce Margalit Cutler, our arts educator. She will be presenting another class, a part of our spring art series called Springtime Memory Landscapes, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello, I'm Margalit, and today we're going to be making springtime watercolor paintings. It's a little dreary and rainy today in New York, so hopefully we can brighten things up. You're going to need some painting tape, brushes. I would suggest having something a little on the wider side and something on the finer side. You don't need this many, but maybe two in those sizes. Cup of water, watercolors, paper towel, and watercolor paper. Some kind of paper that's more absorbent than computer paper, otherwise it's just going to, fall off and won't absorb that color. If this is your first time working with watercolor, I would just kind of experiment the first time and not try to make anything too representational, and just have fun. So the first thing that I would suggest doing is actually pulling up some reference of what you want to paint. Maybe flowers, maybe landscape, and just pull up a couple things that inspire you. Maybe you like these mountains, but you like these flowers, but you like those clouds. You can kind of pick and choose from just a little bit of research, and that's gonna help guide you and inspire you. It's not cheating. The greatest artists in history use reference, so I would start with that. But if you don't want to, you can absolutely just go from your head. And so what I'm gonna show you today is just a couple basic techniques so that you can then use that to do whatever you want. I would suggest taping your piece of paper down because A, it leaves you with a beautiful little border when you're done. Also, it keeps the paper from moving, and it keeps it flat because when it gets wet, it's gonna try to crinkle up. So the first thing I'm gonna do is create a little grassy area. And I think I'm gonna start with a darker green on the bottom. So I'm just dipping my wider brush into the water, putting it over this darker green. Maybe I give it some dabs until the watercolor is a little bit moister because it obviously starts out dry. And I'm just gonna blend it like this. And now, as in the ombre, the gradient, I might go to an even lighter green and just blend it like that. And that's what's another thing that's so nice about watercolor is you can really blend it and get a nice texture and gradation.
I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Maybe I'll go even lighter and go into my yellow over here, so it's even brighter. And so this is really just the underpainting. So we're gonna be adding layers to this. This is just the basis for the beginning. And then maybe my sky is gonna be a little bit darker, and I'll go to this blue. So there's a little bit of contrast as we get to the top of this field. Darker blue. And maybe it's even a sunset, so maybe I'll even add a little bit of pink in this sky area. You like that? Great. Okay. So now we kind of have this nice underpainting, and now we're gonna go in with some details. So if we look at our reference, you can see just from perspective how flowers, the farther they are, obviously there's more of them and they get smaller. So you can kind of look at different references of flowers that you like. I would suggest now switching to a smaller brush so you can get nicer details. And obviously, if you want to build up the underpainting more, you can do that. This is just kind of a brief demo. So maybe I'll have these vibrant kind of fuchsia flowers, and I might do just simple little leaves like that. Maybe I'll have those kinds of flowers where there's a lot on top of each other. maybe ones where there's more petals. And just keep in mind that the farther down you are, the bigger the flowers should be. And then, you know, the farther back, maybe it's really much smaller, little dots. And here, somewhere in between. And then, oops. Now maybe I'll switch to a darker green, start adding some stems.
Oh, now it's coming together.
Yeah, the thing about watercolor is it's a slow build-up. So this is a very quick kind of demo, but you can really take your time making these flowers, you know, more detailed, going over them, adding them, and I'm going to show you a little trick at the end that I like to do to make everything a little bit crisper with a pen, which I forgot to mention in the beginning.
Because at first they didn't look like flowers, but now they do.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't have to look like anything, but if that's your goal, then I would definitely look at reference to help you with that. Maybe I'll add some darker trees.
Oh, trees.
In the back. And now maybe I'll even add some kind of pink sunset-y clouds over here. And I would really just urge you to kind of see what works for you, because everyone is going to have a different technique and a different style. So maybe you like, you know, a certain brush. You can, you know, figure that out the more you experiment. Maybe I'll add some more trees here. And I'll stop for now because you get the idea. But another fun thing you can do once you're finished and this is all more filled out and it's dried a bit, you can take a pen, a waterproof pen, and this might not be totally dry, but you'll still get the idea, to then go over with just a rough little bit of extra, you know, detail like that. So now, even when these little forms are imperfect, you can kind of go over with the pen and make them a little bit stronger. But once again, totally optional. You'll see what works for you. This is more so just showing a couple different techniques. Ooh, smudge that a little bit, so, you know, mistakes happen. Yes. And then, you know, you'll see the last step is then, this is the fun part, it's very satisfying, but do this once everything's dried and it's flat. You take off the tape.
That is nice.
So you have this nice, oops.
Oh no.
Oop, I guess you better do it carefully. Take off this tape. That's why you gotta do it when it's totally dry, otherwise it could rip. Yeah, so this is very rough, very quick, but I hope you got a few techniques and have fun experimenting. It's a very soothing art form, so thanks.